made it. We're here.
Brother. How you been, brother?
Good, man. Good. It's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
Can't be sad on Christmas. Things are going pretty good. Got some pretty sweet gifts. So, yeah, I'm happy that you were able to be here. Join us for this. It's great.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about. I feel like we've been talking about this for a year, having you come out here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then especially interesting having you coming back to the desert too.
Yeah.
It's been. How has it been for you? Coming back.
Bro, it's just been just a very surreal moment. Just waiting for you at the bus stop.
Yeah. We should have gone to the school. We should have gone
Dude,
outside the school and seen
yeah.
that would have been crazy. I think a fair amount of it has changed at the school. Just buildings got remodeled, things like that.
Yeah.
Advancements that they've made, but I'm sure that the overall infrastructure is still be a blast from the past for both of us because I haven't been there in years.
Yeah, right.
But
But the main purpose why I want to do this podcast with you is I want to go back to where it started for us. Because to me, being here is very, very special. And when I first met you, I've always loved you. When I first met you, it's just instant brotherly love. So I want to ask you, how did your family manage to pick me out of all? I really don't know the story.
We didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We didn't.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it worked out where. So I was a part of ASB, so assisting student body or association of the student body. It's the group of kids that help put on events and kind of work for as a group to accomplish different things like pep rallies and the dances, things like that. So I was a part of that group, or that it's actually a class, and in that class we knew all of the kind of ins and outs of what was going to be going on around the school, because you just have a hand in everything. And so right from the get-go, when they had said, hey, we're going to be hosting a school or a bunch of other fellow students from Australia, this wasn't the first time that they had done something like this. Yeah. They had done one with Kiwis. They'd done one with Italy. I think actually the year after, there were a bunch of kids from Italy that ended up coming. So every year they partnered with other schools to have them come, and then people would host them. So your year, it was Australia. That was the country that we were hosting, and you just happened to be one of the very many that came over, and I knew instantly, I was down. I was game. I wanted to host somebody.
Yeah.
And it was very easy for me to make that decision, to just ask my parents and say, hey, are you game? Are you cool if we host you for a week and a half, right? It was or almost 2 weeks. So and they said yes, and then we just had to submit some paperwork, saying we are happy to host. What are some of the expectations? So we read through that stuff, and then it wasn't until the day of that, you and I had talked a little bit coming up to it.
Yeah.
I remember messaging back and forth a little bit.
I think when I found out what school I was going, I was looking through YouTube videos about Palm Springs High.
Oh yeah.
And I came across Erica.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was doing dancing stuff.
Yeah.
I was I reached out to her, hey, do you know Connor?
Yeah, funny. Yeah. Yeah, Erica, I do know Erica. I knew her, it was through dance, but it was more just from going to school together.
Yeah.
Really nice person. Great girl. So, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And
then, we started having to connect as well.
Yeah.
And we started talking and stuff.
Yeah. So that's kind of what happened up until, we met. And then, just having, but then we had I was in ASB along with my best friend at the time, Taylor, and Taylor hosted someone as well,
Yeah,
Kayla.
Kayla. Yeah, yeah.
So having those, it was dope because we were able to anywhere I was going to be going with Taylor. He had his person he was hosting, and I was hosting you. So we just started doing everything together,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it was great. It was so much fun. And Kayla, such a sweetheart. Hope she's doing well.
Yeah, she's got. I think she has like two kids now.
Yeah,
She's married.
yeah. I
Two
think
kids.
I've seen on Facebook
Yeah,
a
yeah,
post here and there. So
yeah.
happy things are going well for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of the backstory. There wasn't any choosing on our part. It
Yeah,
was
okay.
more so, hey, we've got this group of kids that are going to be coming. Who's interested in hosting?
Yeah.
Okay, then we will go ahead and divvy them up, and then we'll let you know who your person is ahead of time,
Got it.
and then prep. Here's what you need to prep for them, and here's a little bit about what your guys' itinerary is going to be, and what days you need to kind of be a little bit more involved, what days you're off the hook, and they're going to be like you guys. There were several times where you guys were out and about, like going to national parks or going to theme parks, things like that. So but that's at least how I remember it. It's 17 years since then, or actually, I think it's 16 because it was my junior year.
Got it.
So 16 years since then, but remarkable. Crazy how time flies.
Yeah, it feels like it hasn't changed between you and I.
No, I don't
Sense
think
of,
so.
Like how we interact with each other and whatnot.
No, I think we had some time. So 7 years ago, when you and I reconnected, when you came to San Diego, there was some time in between you staying and that visit that I don't think that we were quite as close. Just because
I
don't think we were talking as much.
You were talking. Yeah, I remember that. But also, you had work. I think you had work.
I was working a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. At that point in time,
and I think I came in at a bit of a like not so good time, I guess, in hindsight. Like for you, like
when I was in San Diego. Yeah. I mean, yeah, could be. I don't know.
Oh,
I know that at that point there was just a lot going on. I mean, I was working several jobs and
I think I remember
all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's how I remember it.
Yeah. And I remember when the first time we were going to meet each other. I remember I stepped out of the bus, and it was in front of the Palm Springs High School, and it was at night, and we just had a whole crowd just waiting for us, and we had signs, like people had like big signs like calling out for specific people, and I was just looking around, and I looked out, and I saw like a person holding an A4, just a plain A4 paper with a letter D. I'm like, I think that's for me.
Yeah.
So I went closer and closer, and I was like, Connor,
Yeah.
D. We all hugged each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, that moment was like instant brotherhood.
Yeah. It was solidified.
Yeah.
It was.
I don't know. That was like really powerful for me. I remember it's just full of love and
And that's thank God I'm happy that experience that we had that, and we were able from there on out. I mean, I felt like we were joined at the hip whenever you were here.
Yeah.
And
you did pretty much everything.
and we I mean, and then when we went to Six Flags, Magic Mountain.
Oh yeah, that
was a blast.
That was awesome.
So that's a trek too. That's like several hours.
I don't
away.
remember that. I don't remember it was that long of a drive.
Yeah. But yeah, so we made the haul out there, but I remember it was so much fun, and we had quite a crew. There were a lot of us that ended up going, so it was fun.
It was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember like you took me out to Taco Bell. I had Taco Bell for the first time, and I actually remember what I had. Oh, this is what you recommended. was a Crunch Wrap.
Supreme.
Supreme Crunch Wrap.
Yeah, baby. I would. I still stand by that. That's still a killer.
Yeah,
it's a great.
And we both look at each other like,
Yeah. Yep. Not healthy at all, but delicious. So good.
It's good.
Yeah.
So so I don't remember what was the. Do you mind going on to your Facebook messages? I think it would be kind of. It's alright. How we know.
Okay.
Oh. So I guess a question. How would you describe yourself before this visit? Actually, how would you describe yourself 7 years ago when we saw each other the second time?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's been interesting seeing. Well, all three times I feel like I've just been a vastly different person. Most of that has to do with my responsibilities. Obviously, high school, like zero responsibilities. Yeah. So for me, back then, much more carefree and absolutely just wanted to, I guess, well, I had a teacher who always used to tell me, and it's from a movie, The Dead Poet Society, but he always used to tell me, like, Connor, suck the marrow out of life, but don't choke on the bone. And I think that has always been, especially, so you said 7 years ago, that's when I really started to learn what that, or try to put into practice that. High school, I didn't really care. you know, for me, it was much more about
Having fun.
Yeah, having fun.
As
It was more about relationships for me.
Okay.
It was always about building relationships with my friends, people that were around me in my class, you. It was always about building relationships, not so much about the tasks that were in front of me and achieving that level of success, I guess you would say. 7 years ago, I definitely started to get a taste of responsibility, a taste of success in the workplace, school wise, relationships. And so my focus started to change 7 years ago. And I had been through some hard relationships and learned a lot of lessons through those. And so at that point in time, that was actually right before I had started to kind of more or less settle down. Um, I met Paloma at that point in time.
Yeah.
And who's now my wife. I met her, and she was in our friend group, and so it was really easy to get to know her. But at that point, like, you started to see a big shift in me. Yeah. There was a big shift going from, okay, I'm going to work to play, like, so that I can go out and have fun in San Diego, into, okay, now it's all about starting to settle down, really engage in my church life, engage in my relationship with Paloma, take on a lot of responsibilities, and start to figure out exactly what is it that I want to do long term. So much more goal oriented and future oriented is what I started to see 7 years ago. Now, fast forward, I am a father of soon to be 2 kids. Paloma and I have been married for it's going to be 4 years. Sorry, it's going to be 5 years in February. And we live in northern Arizona, full on career working for the federal government now for 3 years. Summertimes, I do seasonal firefighting, and Paloma and I own our own photography and videography business. So never would have thought that in our wildest dreams that we would be at that point, and no, none of those things are wildly successful, but they are phenomenal seeds that we've planted that I truly hope will bear a lot of fruit down the road. And they've already bore a lot of fruit thus far. So um, interesting to see that transition.
Yeah.
Weird how you look back and it's so strange. I mean, for those of you in the podcast world on that side of the screen, you don't know what we were up to the last couple days, but we caught up with a bunch of older friends that we knew from high school, that I knew from high school. We mentioned Taylor earlier, so we went out and we got a beer with Taylor. We saw some of the other people that were in that same ASB. Oli, stop. No more, please. So we were in that same come over here. Come over here.
Please bear with us, people. We got like 3 dogs around.
We do.
Us.
Little
Yeah,
yappers.
this is like the only place that we can be able to do this.
Yeah, we got lots of family inside, so we snuck away. But yeah. So anyways, so we got a chance to see a lot of people that were in that ASB group. A bunch of other people they hosted people as well at that point in time. So interesting that we got a blast from the past from them too, and to reconnect. And yeah, this whole weekend, I feel like it's kind of just been all about that. And yeah, it's been interesting. Kind of cringy at some points because you think about high school and oh man, people bringing up past memories about.
Dude, how do you feel about meeting those like your high school friends? Because I know for me, I have no interest of seeing old high school friends.
Yeah, this is the first. So I didn't even go to my 10-year reunion.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys, they're in the class below me, or even in Taylor's class, which is 2 below me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But there were a lot of kind of mixed bag in there. So I don't keep up with hardly anybody. Yeah. I mean, Josiah, Taylor, and then Tom, who you met.
Yeah.
Those are pretty much the only 3 that I kind of keep up with. There might be a couple that get tossed in there every once in a while that but I can't, yeah, not so much that I can really think of. So, and frankly, because I've changed so much, because I have so much responsibility, because I'm actually goal oriented, whereas back in the day I was not. Mm-hmm. There's so much that has changed in me that going back and hanging out with them, I do have some anxiety there. I do have some anxiety about, well, do they have expectations that they're going to see the old Connor or the immature Connor, or, I just don't know. I'm not sure. I can tell you that it was delightful. It was delightful to actually shake off that anxiety, get there, talk with them, because they've all changed too. Yeah. And it was wonderful to reconnect with some of those people that at one point in time we were really, really close, so blessed to be able to do that in a nice atmosphere. It was a cool brewery too, so it was nice. Definitely enjoyed it, but don't know how often I'll be doing that. Honestly, I don't. Yeah, just all of my time is spent with family now. So
yeah, no, it's I think just to see you who you are right now, I fucking, excuse my language, but I really love seeing you who you are right now, because I know like we had a few calls before I saw you, and you're going through some stuff, and just to see you just overcome them, and especially the shame part. You were hard on yourself.
Yeah,
you were hard on yourself, and actually seeing you kind of let off that.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is it's wonderful what therapy can do for you. Yeah. And it's wonderful when you do seek out good healing, what it can do for you, your life, your relationships, my family, myself, my self-confidence. Also finding that self-worth. I've always found it in external things, but then, really trying to find it internally has been a big revelation, I think, for me. And so I still find it in some external things, jujitsu, one of those things. I love playing golf, as you saw. I am hard on myself with golf
Yeah, I
because
noticed that.
because I demand excellence. But no, I mean I love golf, and Dad and I have played golf forever, and so if I know that I'm not hitting the mark, um, yeah, I just can't. It's not so much that I'm upset with myself. It's just more of a disappointment. Um, and that's okay because that's also a huge part of golf. Much like jujitsu, sometimes you go into the gym and you're not feeling it, but you're smashing. Sometimes you go in and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get it," and you get smashed. So you never know. You never know. And um, either way, it's humbling. Either way, it's really good for you. And just try to take those opportunities now. So, but thank you. That's a great um, compliment that you paid me. I've been trying to work at it. You've helped me a lot with some of the tools. This isn't the first time that I've used some of those tools that you mentioned about. Well, if you're ever upset with yourself, you know, picturing yourself as a young child and saying, how would you convey your current state um, when dealing with this particular situation if you were talking to your younger self. And that is a great tool. And it has helped me to open up my eyes to giving myself grace, comfort, kindness, um, and just being gentle, being gentle with myself. So, yeah, but thank you. I'm trying.
I think you're doing great, Mama.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I got another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What are three things that you love about yourself?
Um, I love, I love, I love that I love church. I love that I am trying to love it more and really get into experiencing a deeper knowledge of the faith of Christ. Um, it's something that I've had my whole life, and I feel like I've barely cracked the surface. And there's always a deeper well to draw from. And so I'm trying to continually, go further up and further in and experiencing that. So I love that about myself. I love that sometimes it is a struggle to get my butt out of bed and to go to church, but once I'm there and I'm singing, I love it, and it's a truly a gift to be able to have something like that I love that gives me so much peace and comfort. So I love that I have a tenacity about life. I like that I don't really. There are times where I maybe will sit back a little bit and relax, but most of the time I feel like I'm really trying to just get after it and have a little bit of an intensity and not really settle for things in life. I really want to achieve and see what I'm made of. See what I can do with the time that I got. And I love that about myself because I'm never really. I don't get bored easily because of that. Because I'm always trying to pick apart something.
Yeah.
And so I like that about myself. I love that. And then I love that I love people. I love that I love people. And being around people, I love that I love loving people, that it's a joy to me to be able to see see you be successful, see you grow, see you do great things and have, have good relationships and doing good for yourself. I love that for you. And it's not always, some people don't have that. Some people aren't like people persons,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely a people person. And it brings me a lot of joy when I do see other people succeeding, and especially people that I love, and it's, um, I think life would be so much more pale and bland if I didn't have that joy when I look over and I see, like, my brother's doing it, like, he's killing it. I'm happy for him, and I love that. I love that. So
No, man. I actually see it. Like when I'm just around now and just seeing you interact with people, it's just I can see the love that you give. Like you just abundance of love. And it's just really wonderful to see. And I don't see that a lot in people. To actually just when someone just listens to someone and someone that other person saying something good happened. I don't see a lot of people just like, dude, congrats, man! Like, congrats, that's awesome. Like, yeah, um, yeah, man, it's such a beautiful thing to see, and yeah, you have that. It's
thank God.
That's what I love about you, man.
Try to gas my boys up.
Yeah, man. So, one last question because it's gonna get dark. So from all the struggles that you've experienced, hard times, what would be one advice to a young man? What would you give him? Just based on your experience, what would you tell? What would be one advice that you'll give him?
That is a really good question. My gut wants to say, I mean, it's something that you and I have talked a lot about, is just be gentle with yourself. Know that you are worthy of love, that you are loved. A lot of people don't, I think, especially men, young men, I think that either they don't experience love, or they don't think that they do, or they don't see it, or they don't feel it. And so they start to, unfortunately, go into a dark place. And there is so much love that's out there in the world. And God loves them. God loves you. You are worthy of love. And you are worthy of everything that you want in this life. You can have it. And I think that there's so much. I'm like such an optimist, just who I am. And I think that sometimes it's hard. Life is hard. Life is very hard. And it's also really hard to be our own cheerleaders sometimes. And so we can get down on ourselves. But I think the best thing to do in those times is to, even if we don't necessarily feel like we know that we're loved, rationally we should know. And so I'm telling you that you are loved. Inside and out, you are loved. And be gentle with yourself. Because life is hard. And it's always going to be hard. It always has been hard. And that's part of what makes it so good. Because nothing worthwhile is easy. And so it's only through the striving and working hard that we actually get the goodness. Sucking the marrow out of life, but not choking on the bone. In order to get the apple from the apple tree, we gotta uproot all of the weeds from the field, and we gotta plant it. We've gotta dig. We've gotta water it. We've gotta wait. We've gotta be patient. There's so many things that go into just one apple. And it's hard. So be gentle. Be gentle on yourself. And you're doing great. You are doing great.
Mate, I've got goosebumps. It's really awesome for you to say that. And coming from a gentleman like you, it's a big thing. And that before you weren't like that. Before, And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, You go through some stuff and you come out the other side, and I don't know. Sometimes, well, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and um, the best thing that I think we can do for those around us is to just love them hard with everything that we got. Just love people inside and out. Just love them to death. Yeah, I love you.
I love you, Brian, and I'm really proud of you, Brian. And I'm so glad I'm here after all these years.
Me
And
too.
we're still talking.
Me too.
And I plan on growing old with you together.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're not leaving my heart. It's
Yeah.
You're in here always.
Same, brother. Same.
I love you, Brian.
I love you.
Alright, everyone. It's done for today. This is Darren Unscripted. Cheers.